Listen closely, gentlemen. This might just flip your entire perspective on women, relationships, and attraction. We're about to dive into some raw, brutally honest psychological truths about women that most men shy away from confronting. But here's the thing. These aren't just lessons about understanding women. They're about mastering yourself. As the Stoics famously teach, controlling your emotions and facing reality as it is, not as you wish it to be, is the ultimate source of power. The insights in this video aren't meant to manipulate or deceive. They're here to give you the upper hand by helping you see the world for what it truly is. Stick with me. This could be the secret weapon you've been missing. Welcome to Stoic Pathways. Let's start with something that will change the way you approach attraction forever. Mental stimulation is everything. For women, attraction starts in the mind. You could have the most jaw-dropping physique, but if you fail to mentally stimulate her, you're just another guy she'll forget. Women crave deeper connections, and the more you engage her intellect, the easier it becomes for her to emotionally connect and experience real pleasure. But here's the twist. It's not about faking it or pandering to her interests. It's about mastering your own thoughts and energy. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Confidence and intention in your mindset create a magnetic energy she'll be drawn to. This is why emotional and mental connection often triumph over physical touch. It's not manipulation. It's understanding the game. And like the Stoics teach, control starts with mastering yourself. Develop your intellect, emotional resilience, and confidence. When you engage your mind, the rest will naturally follow. But let's take it deeper. Have you ever wondered why certain men have an almost hypnotic effect on women? It's not about looks, status, or wealth. It's about presence. True presence is rare. In a world where everyone's distracted, the man who can focus, listen, and respond with purpose becomes incredibly attractive. Women are naturally drawn to a man who exudes control over his own emotions and energy. It's an unspoken power that commands respect and attraction without a single word. This is the essence of Stoicism, being fully present, fully aware, and fully in control of yourself. Now, let's talk about something most men overlook: scent. Here's a shocking truth. If a woman is captivated by how you smell, your odds of her falling for you shoot up by a staggering 97%. Yes, you read that right. Why does this work? It's primal. The Stoic perspective here reminds us to focus on what's in our control. Marcus Aurelius emphasized this. And in your case, that means maintaining impeccable hygiene and picking a scent that truly represents you. This small detail speaks volumes. It's not just about making a good impression. It taps into something instinctual and incredibly powerful. But what about deeper, more intimate moments? Here's something most men don't realize. Many women feel self-conscious about their appearance during intimacy, even the most confident ones. They have lingering fears of judgment. This is where you step in as a game changer. A genuine, confident reassurance from you can completely shift her perspective and put her at ease. Here's where Stoicism offers a powerful lesson. Focus on what's in your control. You can't change how she views herself, but you can control how you respond. By staying calm, steady, and offering sincere reassurance, you're showing her that you're not caught up in superficial concerns. In a world obsessed with unattainable perfection, your ability to stay centered and grounded makes all the difference. And speaking of perception, let's address one of the most uncomfortable truths in modern dating. Some women go on dates purely for the free meal. Studies show that 38% of women admit to this. While you might be picturing a romantic connection, she might just be eyeing the menu like it's her personal feast. This is where the Stoic mindset becomes invaluable. Detach yourself from the outcome and focus solely on your actions. Not every date will lead to something meaningful, and that's okay. Remember, Stoicism teaches us that it's not about what happens, but how we respond to it. By staying composed and self-assured, you can navigate these situations without frustration or resentment. Let's go even deeper. Do you know that a woman's attraction and desire shift throughout her cycle? During ovulation, a woman's desire skyrockets. This isn't just a mood swing, it's biology. Nature heightens her sexual energy, making her more attuned to attraction and intimacy. But here's the twist. It's not about you doing something right, it's about understanding and recognizing these natural rhythms. The Stoic way is to avoid being swept up by external factors. Instead, acknowledge them, accept them, and stay grounded. By mastering your reactions, you maintain control over yourself, regardless of what's happening around you. Here's another undeniable truth. Women are naturally more attracted to men who are already desired by other women. It's called social proof, and it's a primal reaction embedded deep in human psychology. But here's the Stoic reminder. Don't let this boost your ego. Your worth isn't determined by external validation. True power comes from within. When you're grounded in self-respect and emotional mastery, your quiet confidence will speak volumes. That's the kind of energy that attracts and sustains real connection. We could keep going, but here's the bottom line. Stoicism isn't just about philosophy. It's about real, actionable power in your life. It's about being the kind of man who doesn't just react, but who controls himself, who understands the forces at play, and who moves with intention. When you master these principles, you'll start to see women, relationships, and even yourself in a completely different light. But let's take it a step further. Beyond attraction, beyond relationships, into the realm of true mastery over your own life. Because here's the truth. No external validation, no amount of attraction, and no relationship will ever fulfill you if you're not already whole. That's where most men get it wrong. They chase, they seek approval, they hinge their confidence on whether or not a woman responds in the way they hope. This is the opposite of power. A Stoic man understands that true fulfillment comes from within. He doesn't rely on attention, affection, or attraction to feel worthy. He builds his life in a way that aligns with his highest values. That's why he becomes magnetic, not because he's chasing, but because he's too busy becoming the best version of himself. He has purpose, he has direction, and as a result, women naturally gravitate toward him. So, how do you cultivate this level of self-mastery? Let's break it down into key principles that will not only transform your dating life, but every aspect of your existence. 1. Emotional mastery is non-negotiable. One of the biggest weaknesses in men today is their lack of emotional control. The modern world encourages emotional indulgence, reactivity, victimhood, and impulsivity. But a Stoic man is different. He knows that his emotions are merely signals, not commands. He feels anger, but he doesn't lash out. He experiences disappointment, but he doesn't crumble. He acknowledges fear, but he doesn't let it dictate his actions. This is why women respect men who can remain composed under pressure. It's why confidence is so powerful. It's the ability to remain steady regardless of circumstances. The man who isn't easily shaken is the man who commands respect. Women, whether consciously or subconsciously, are drawn to this because it signals strength, security, and leadership. 2. Purpose over pleasure. Many men fall into the trap of prioritizing pleasure over purpose. They waste time chasing temporary highs, whether it's validation from women, meaningless entertainment, or distractions that do nothing for their long-term growth. But a Stoic man lives by a different code. His primary focus is on his mission. Think of history's greatest men: Marcus Aurelius, Alexander the Great, Leonardo da Vinci. Do you think they spent their days obsessing over who was texting them back? They were too consumed with their purpose, and as a result, they left a legacy. Women are naturally drawn to a man who is focused, driven, and relentless in his pursuit of something greater than himself. Because that kind of man is rare, so ask yourself, what's your mission? What are you building? Where are you going? If you don't have an answer, that's your first step. 3. The power of walking away. A man with options is a man who never fears loss. And this doesn't just apply to relationships, it applies to life. The ability to walk away from anything that no longer serves you is one of the greatest strengths you can develop. Most men stay in situations that drain them, jobs they hate, relationships that suffocate them, friendships that bring them down. Why? Because they fear change. But a Stoic man understands that attachment is weakness. If something isn't aligned with his values, he moves on, without hesitation, without drama, without looking back. This is incredibly attractive because it shows that you don't need anyone. You are your own source of strength. And ironically, the moment you develop this mindset, people, including women, start chasing you. 4. Indifference is power. Women respect a man who is centered, who doesn't seek approval, who doesn't react emotionally to every little thing. The ability to remain indifferent to things outside your control is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. This doesn't mean you become cold or unfeeling. It means you become selective with your energy. You don't waste time over analyzing a text. You don't chase after someone who isn't reciprocating. You don't let external factors dictate your mood. You remain steady, focused, grounded. And here's the paradox. The less you react, the more control you actually have. Women notice this. They sense when a man is unaffected by their tests, by social pressures, by external chaos. And that's precisely why they respect him. 5. Your appearance is a reflection of your discipline. Let's be real, presentation matters. It's not about vanity, it's about self-respect. A man who takes care of his body, his grooming, his style, he signals that he values himself. And if he values himself, others will too. The key here isn't to dress for others, it's to develop a standard for yourself. Your hygiene, your physique, your posture, these all communicate something before you even open your mouth. And when you carry yourself with pride, people, including women, respond accordingly. 6. But here's where most men get it wrong. They confuse mystery with playing games. A Stoic man doesn't withhold to manipulate, he withholds because he understands the value of scarcity. When something is easily accessible, it loses its value. The same applies to your presence, your time, and your personal story. Think about it. Why are people drawn to legends, to figures like Marcus Aurelius or Miyamoto Musashi? It's because their wisdom wasn't flaunted, it was earned. They didn't seek validation by spilling every thought to the masses. They let their actions speak. And when they did share something, it carried weight. This is exactly how you should approach your own personal narrative. Don't be the man who instantly lays out his entire life story, insecurities, and deepest emotions in a desperate bid for connection. Be the man who shares in layers, who reveals himself gradually with intention. It's not about being secretive, it's about being selective. And here's where it gets interesting. When you cultivate this mindset, you'll notice a shift in how people treat you. They'll lean in more, they'll ask more questions, they'll want to be around you more. Because in a world of oversharing, a man with depth stands out. A Stoic man understands this fundamental truth. The more attached you are to an outcome, the weaker you become. This applies to business, friendships, and yes, relationships. Most men sabotage their own power by getting overly invested too soon. They place their happiness in the hands of external factors, whether it's a woman's approval, a text response, or the promise of a second date. The result? They operate from a place of scarcity, of neediness. But when you approach life and relationships with detachment, everything changes. You're no longer seeking, you're no longer waiting. You're simply existing in your power, allowing things to unfold naturally. This doesn't mean you don't care. It means you refuse to be controlled by what you can't control. If a woman pulls away, you don't panic. If a deal falls through, you don't break. You move forward, always grounded, always steady. That kind of energy is intoxicating. Most men accept whatever is handed to them. Low-effort relationships, one-sided friendships, mediocre lifestyles. They complain about it, but they rarely enforce their own standards. A Stoic man, on the other hand, operates differently. He knows exactly what he wants and refuses to tolerate less. If a woman disrespects his time, he walks away. If a situation isn't serving him, he removes himself. He doesn't beg, he doesn't negotiate, he simply moves with certainty. This is the foundation of true confidence. It's not just about appearing strong, it's about knowing, deep in your core, that you deserve excellence because you've built yourself into a man of excellence. And here's the key. When you hold yourself to higher standards, others naturally start to rise to meet them. Women sense when a man has options, when he's not easily swayed, when he's not afraid to be alone. That kind of self-respect is magnetic. At the end of the day, everything we've talked about boils down to one thing: control over yourself, your emotions, your reactions, your energy. Because here's the hard truth. Most men are ruled by their impulses. They let fear dictate their decisions. They chase validation. They allow setbacks to break them. A Stoic man? He operates on a different frequency. He's immune to drama. He's unshaken by rejection. He walks into any room, any situation, with an unspoken power that commands respect. And that's the ultimate flex. Not money, not status, not even attraction. It's knowing that no matter what happens, you are in control of yourself. That's what makes a man truly powerful. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most men. You understand that attraction, success, and self-mastery aren't about tricks or shortcuts. They're about building yourself from the inside out. But knowledge without action is useless. So, here's your next move. Audit your life. Where are you being reactive instead of proactive? Set higher standards. Stop accepting mediocrity in your relationships, your mindset, your habits. Detach from outcomes. Move with confidence, never desperation. And most importantly, commit to becoming the kind of man who doesn't just attract, but commands respect in every aspect of life. At the end of the day, all of this boils down to one thing: mastering yourself. Attraction, respect, power. These aren't things you chase. They're things you become. And the more you invest in yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally, the more naturally these things will flow into your life. So, here's your challenge. Stop worrying about external validation. Stop chasing. Stop reacting. Instead, start building. Start refining. Start becoming the kind of man who commands respect, not just from women, but from the world. If you've made it this far, you already have the mindset to level up. Now it's time to take action. Subscribe to Stoic Pathway and turn on notifications. Because this journey, it's just getting started.